our new learner into the community, Joe, together with Aaron and Isaac. Pleasure to have you here in the morning service, but I'm sorry that it's never seen to you. And I think many members of the community have an opportunity to be on the board of the community, huge numbers of people who are there to give honour to your mother, blessed memory, and of course to all the members of your family. I think yes, it's happened in such a sudden way, it took a long time to get over it, and we are here to help the process. So we're coming by in there. So we're going to continue with Mishnah 18 in the second parak of Mishnah Pirkei Avot, with some teachings, three teachings of Rabbi Shimon, and he of course is one of the pupils of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and in an earlier Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who has been describing the specific qualities of each of his Talmidim, has described Rabbi Shimon as a Yirei Chet, as a person who is fearful of sin. So we have to presume, therefore, that the teachings that he offers us here are his own suggestions of the ways in which, thank you very much, Stanley, the ways in which a person can overcome sin. The first one is as follows. Be very, very careful in the reading of the Shema and in the Tefillah. I think there are probably two reasons for this. The first is because certainly in relation to the Shema, in Gemara and Brachot, it ascribes to the Shema some kind of special mystical quality. It seems almost in a sense that what a mezuzah does for a home in terms of protecting it, the Shema does for a person's soul in terms of protecting it. And therefore it speaks about the Shema at night, and it says it is like holding, a person goes to sleep, holding cherev shel shtei pthiot biyadav. He holds a sword, a double-edged sword in his hand, able to shmice all of the negative influences that come during the course of the night. So the Shema therefore has this kind of special quality, and that's the first reason why he says one should be careful in reciting the Shema, because it holds the negative dimensions of our lives somewhere at bay at some kind of mystical spiritual level, which of course most of us won't understand. But the second reason is a lot more pashut, it's more understandable, and that is that if you look at the words, and you speak about that these words of these words shall be al-levavecha, shall be upon your heart, right? And that you should love God with all of your heart, with all your soul, with all of your might. This, of course, puts you in an emotional and in a mental and in a behavioral space that makes you feel that you want to be connected to God, and therefore it's going to be a lot more difficult for a person to sin under those circumstances. So just when reading these words, thinking about them and trying to actually implement them and bring them into one's life is going to be the piece of advice that he's going to give. And there is this lovely story about Daniel. You know, Daniel, who was one of the exiles, was a young child who was taken into the palace, the Babylonian palace, because he was a lovely kid and he was very talented. And he and a group of other children were taken in, and they were given a terrific education, and they were all the beautiful food was laid on. And Daniel was this kid who simply was not going to follow the trend. He was not going to eat the non-kosher food. And the steward, the cook, said to him, look, said, if you don't eat it, you'll be damaged, but I'll also be in trouble because my job is to feed you, and if I'm not feeding you and fattening you up, I'm going to be in trouble as well. And Daniel said, definitely not, no way. And what the reason is, because as the Pasuk says, these words were upon his heart, the same words from the Shema. And that's what gave him the strength to be able to withstand all of the negative influences which were around him, because he had taken the words of the Shema to heart in some very, very deep way, and he lived those words. So that's the first piece of advice from Rabbi Shimon, to be very particular and careful, rather than just babble the words, actually spend a bit of time thinking about it, even if the chazan is racing ahead. You take your time, read those words, certainly at least the first paragraph, and when it comes to tefillah as well, when you stand before the Almighty, just try that special moment of connection, so we don't allow it simply to become totally habitual and just words which flow because they're so familiar to us that they have ceased to have any kind of meaning. Rabbi Chananya ben Kashamer, Ratzu Baruch Baruch Mizak Yisrael, Fichach, Hir B'Em Tonitzah, Shneimar Nechfetz Man Sidko, Yagdil Tov Yadeh.
מקומם להתנצל, להתגדל, להתעלל, להתעלל, שמי לקודשה ריבונו. לעולם מכל בפרצה ושרצה, ושרצה ונקמתה, ימירם נעמה ויברו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידיהם, על כל תלמידיהם, ועל כל מה יעשים ורייתא גיל עדרא, כדי כל אתה, יהי להון ולכל שלום לרבה, וינה וגיסתא ורייתא מבחיים ואין, וזונה וקריאה כל פעמים עליו, אברהם שמיים ועברו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה משמיים וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויברו אמן. עושה שלום לכולם, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויברו אמן.
And as Paul is still in the week of Shiva, ending tomorrow, we'll say Psalm 49, and he'll say Kaddish on his own after that, and then sit so that we can be Menachem Avel. Lam Naseach Livnei Korach Mizmor. This is on page 838 in the Green Siddur. Shimu zois kol amim hazinu kol yosh ve'chalet gam b'nei adam gam b'nei ish yachad asher ve'evion pi yada b'chochmus v'hagos li b'sivunois atel lemoshel ozni eftach b'chino chidasi lama ira b'meira avon hakeves ubeinu abotchim al chelam uvrov ashram yishalelu ach lo yifadayif ish lo yiten lehem kafroi v'yeket pidyon navsham v'chadal olam v'chiod lanetzach lo yira shachas ki rech hachamim yamusu yachad kasil v'ar yavedu v'azvu lacherem chelam קרבם בתימו לעולם משכנוסם לדור ודור, קרוב ושמוסרם על ידי המויס, ואדם בעיקר בעל ילין נמשל כבהמוס נדמו. זה דרכם כסל למוי, ואחריהם בפיהם ירצו סלע כצאן לשאול שתו, מובס יראיהם וידעו במישרים לבית בצורם לברויס ושולמוס ולוי. אך אלוהים יפדה נפשי מיד שואל, כי ככנו סלע. אל תירא כי אשי איש, כי ירבה כבוד בייסוי, כי לא ומויסי ייקח הכל, לא ירד אחריו כבודוי, כי נפש בחייו יברך וידוך כסא תבלח תבוא עד דור אבוסיו עד נצח לא יאור אדם ביקה ולא יבין נמשל כבהמוס נדמו. The most depressing psalm in the whole of Tehillim. When you read the English. Kaddish.
יתקדש ורבב ועלמה דיברה כנותר ימליך מלכוסה וחיי כל ויום כל חיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן תריד אמרו אמן. יתפרח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה ושמי וקדושה ואלה מכל הלכתה ותפילתה תושלכתה ונחמתה ואמירם ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום לנאמה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
במקום לנחם אתכם, אוסף שעה אבלי ציון וירושלים.